What is up, everyone? Happy Thursday. Welcome to week 15. The playoffs are here. I hope you guys are ready. We're going to hang out for a little bit here. I'm going to go over the player news, practice news, and everything from today. Get your start sit questions, whatever you guys have in the comments. I'll get to that in just a few minutes, but I'm just going to read the underdog news for now. For tonight's game, Falcons Tampa Bay, we have Kyle Pitts active. He was questionable with the knee thing. I think he's going to be fine. I like Kyle Pitts tonight. He's projected for like 6 for 60. He's been catching a lot of passes, and he's kind of the lead receiver right now without Drake London. Jalen McMillan is active for Tampa Bay, his first game of the season with that neck thing. Cade Otton inactive tonight. So we're going to see a heavy reliance on the wide receivers. You have Mike Evans also active. And then what else do we got here? Geno Smith not practicing. It looks like it's going to be Kenny Pickett starting on Sunday for the Raiders at the Eagles. So if you want to dabble with Eagles defense, that looks pretty good. No Devontae Adams today with a hamstring. We'll watch for that one. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But back-to-back DNPs raises our eyebrows a little bit. If he's limited tomorrow, he's fine. He can play through this hamstring. He has already this season. The Josh Jacobs one, though, that is the big injury that we're watching here. He does not practice again today. He said that when he hurt his knee back when they were playing the Giants, he banged it pretty good at the MetLife Stadium, and it's sore, it's bruised, it's whatever. He said he kind of re-aggravated it again last Sunday. So we'll watch for Jacobs, but right now, like Emmanuel Wilson should be owned in all formats heading into Friday. Amari DeMercado limited today. No Marvin Harrison Jr. today with the heel injury. I'm not expecting Marvin Harrison Jr. to play, so we're going to keep Michael Wilson where we have him in our rankings. Woody Marks is back at practice today, but Nick Chubb is not. So we do like Woody Marks quite a bit. He's going to be a top 20 running back for me. Good news for CeeDee Lamb. Full practice, man. I totally expected him not to be able to go this weekend. We were looking at Ryan Flournoy as the potential add, but CeeDee Lamb practicing in full with the concussion. Like, to me, this is pretty much saying he's going to play on Sunday. But no Jake Ferguson today. So that's a big one here. If you guys are desperate for a tight end, you can look for Luke Schoonmaker. Breece Hall missed practice yesterday, limited today. He's on track to play. Alvin Kamara does not practice today. He's probably not playing. So another week of Devin Neal as a low-end RB2. Mason Taylor also not practicing again today. Doesn't look like he's going to go on Sunday. Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields both not practicing either. It's going to be Brock, whatever his name is. Brady Cook. I don't even know who the guy is, but it's Brady Cook. So start your Jags defense this weekend. Parker Washington limited for the Jags, on track to playing. T. Higgins limited in practice again with that weird concussion stuff. I'm listing him as doubtful. We'll see about his reports tomorrow, but positive news coming for T. Higgins. David Njoku, Dylan Sampson, and Cedric Tillman all don't practice today. I do like that Bears defense, especially with all these guys missing time. Chris Rodriguez returned to practice today, limited for the Commanders. TJ Hawkinson returned to practice today, limited for the Vikings. Tyrone Tracy's in full. I like Tyrone Tracy this weekend against the Commanders. And then we had Darnell Washington miss practice yesterday with a concussion, but he's limited today. He's on track to being cleared and playing. Good news for Rome Odunze, limited today after missing practice yesterday and then missing all of last week. He's on track to playing. I don't like Rome Odunze this weekend. Again, the weather. So I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. On Saturday, we're expecting – here, let me actually pull it up. It's going to be really, really freezing around Lake Michigan. And there's a home game in Chicago. For me on Saturday, it's a high of 5 degrees. And with the wind chill being, 10 to 20 miles per hour, it's going to feel like it's negative degrees. And then on Sunday, we have a high of 9 degrees. So it's going to be terribly cold on Sunday in the Chicago area. Mike Evans will play tonight. I did see a question from Andrew. What do you expect out of Mike Evans tonight? I don't expect a lot out of Mike Evans tonight. Let's pull up the DraftKings Sportsbook. And I just want to take a peek at his over-unders tonight because, we got Godwin healthy, Igbukah healthy. You have Sterling Shepard healthy. You got now Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan. They are down Cade Otton, which helps. But there's a lot of stuff going on here, man. Where are we? Alrighty, Mike Evans. They have Mike at 40.5 receiving yards, and they have him at about 3.5 receptions. They're taking the under on his catches. So they're saying like 3 for 40, which at this point, you're banking on a touchdown out of Mike Evans. The touchdown odds tonight, they have Bucky Irving being the highest odds for Bucks, Mika Egbuka, the second highest odds, and then Evans is there. So, I mean, you're not going to get the volume today from Mike Evans in his first game back, but you could easily get a touchdown here. He's plus 180 to score. So, what do I expect out of Mike Evans tonight? Not a lot, but I expect him to make, one or two nice big catches and hopefully be there. But he's just a wide receiver 3 flex for me tonight, so I'm not super excited to get him in my lineup. DK Metcalf says he's good to go for week 15, so you guys can forget about all that stuff that happened with his stomach. Devon Achane, Monday Night Football. We were worried about him, but he was limited at practice today, which is a great sign. I think he's going to play. What else do we got here? Now I'm into Wednesday. So I got all the player news done. Good evening, Chase. I hope you're doing well, man. We've been going back and forth with a lot of questions. Expectations for Emeka Egbuka tonight. Emeka Egbuka has not played well for like a good 2 months. He's at 50.5 receiving yards on DraftKings, and his reception total is under 4.5, pretty aggressively here. So you're kind of looking at 4 for 50 with decent odds for a touchdown. I think if you're starting Egbuka, you want your 10 points. You want that 4 for 60, the 5 for 50, whatever it is. That's going to be his median floor. But it's just, do we get that big touchdown pass from Baker Mayfield? I think that's what you're looking for. So I don't have a lot of expectations, but I do expect Tampa Bay to play well tonight. We got everybody back. Bucky, we got Mike Evans, Godwin. This is the first time Godwin, Egbuka, and Evans are all playing together, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Maybe they played earlier in the year, but for the first time, like they're all at full strength here. So we'll see what happens. And I do think Egbuka needs the presence of the other guys to help soften coverages. So maybe Egbuka has a breakout game. Maybe he's the best player tonight. But I'm gonna give him 5 for 60. That'll be my guess. And good evening to Kells. Jake Ferguson, Waller, likely pick one. So Jake Ferguson missed practice today. I'm a little concerned about that. If I go to my tight end rankings, which I did update my weekly rankings earlier this morning, I had a few things to tweak. I have both Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely in the top 10. I have Mark Andrews tight end 9, Likely tight end 10. So I do like both Ravens tight ends. Waller is just not in my considerations. I just don't want to trust Darren Waller. He could easily catch a touchdown on Monday Night Football, but I just don't think I want to mess with it. I'm probably going to play Isaiah Likely here. If Jake Ferguson is limited already, it's a tough defense against Minnesota. I think you got to take advantage of the number 1 tight end matchup for Isaiah Likely. So I'm going to go Isaiah Likely. And good evening to Double Tap. Yeah, man, I think the Steelers are going to win this division still. I'm not going to be shocked if they continue to win games here and find a way to do it. And Rodgers, if he just needs to throw the ball 12 times at DK Metcalf and keep that offense moving, I think that might be just simply to be the best thing for the offense at this point. So DK Metcalf for me is ranked. I've got him at wide receiver 27. I should probably move him higher, honestly. I do feel pretty good about DK Metcalf this weekend against Miami. This one's not close. Double tap. I'm going Jaden Reed. I still like Jameer DK, but I don't really want to mess with it. I have DK. I think he's just outside my top 50. Wide receiver 56 for Jameer DK. I have Jaden Reed up at wide receiver 30. So I'm aggressively going Jaden Reed. I was very encouraged by his first game back last week, and he's going to be a slot player for the against the Broncos here. And I think that's where he's going to be able to help the Packers move the ball. This one's pretty easy, Chase. I'm going Tony Pollard. Singletary's still the primary backup, and yeah, he'll get his opportunities to touch the ball. But this weekend, the way Tony Pollard played last week, I mean, he dominated that game, and he single-handedly won the game for him. And I'm still low on him in my rankings. I have him at running back 32. I do have Devin Singletary RB 39, but I'm going Tony Pollard here, and I should probably move him up because I'm not really scared of the 49ers defense. So I do have good Tony Pollard vibes. We're not going to get what we got last weekend, but if he's starting to pop off big runs especially for touchdowns, man, that's music to our ears. So I do like Mr. Tony Pollard this weekend. Let me see what else we got brewing here. I'm not pretty excited about tonight's game. I do want to see if Atlanta's got any fight with Kirk Cousins. I think that is intriguing. And Tampa Bay, I mean, they got the Carolina Panthers hot on their tail for this one. So they need to play well. If Tampa Bay does not play well and they lose this game, man, like that just gives the Panthers the upper hand the rest of the way. So we're watching for that a little bit. But overall, not the best Thursday night football game. Let me pull up the schedule here for this weekend. Interesting. I'm not super into Darren Waller. And I get the weather's a big concern, but I think I'm going to play Colston Loveland here. Like, I don't have Darren Waller ranked very high at all. In fact, he wasn't really used last weekend. They used Greg Dulcich more. So I think it's still kind of tight end by committee there. I have Darren Waller at tight end 18 this weekend at Pittsburgh, and I have Colston Loveland tight end 13. So I'm going to lean Colston Loveland here. But overall, I'm not in love with the Darren Waller usage. He's not out there for a lot of snaps and routes. And, basically you need a touchdown for him to get you 10 points. Whereas Loveland, he's been catching 3-4 passes per game. A cold, windy game, maybe the tight ends are heavily involved for Chicago. So I'm going to stick with Loveland here. Starting Wandale or Juwan Johnson over Michael Wilson, Sutton, and Jennings. So I'll play Wilson. MJ's out. Okay. Man, I kind of want to find a way to get Wandale in my lineup because Wandale Robinson has been, he's been really, really good this season. I think a lot of people don't really understand how good he's been playing. Over the last 5 weeks, Wandale Robinson's wide receiver 15 on the season. Over the last 3 weeks, Wandale Robinson, again, wide receiver 15, and he only had 2 games. So in his last 2 games, the dude's averaging a ton of fantasy points. So it's starting to look really good for Wandale Robinson. He's a double-digit PPR machine. Getting the San Francisco 49ers, man, I kind of want to find a way to get Wandale Robinson in here. And we need to start 2. I'm not quite sure what the question is. I think I'm going to – my rankings are going to say you have Michael Wilson at the top. I technically have Wandale Robinson right behind him this weekend. I have Wandale Robinson as the highest ranked player of this group, wide receiver 11. I have Michael Wilson at wide receiver 14, and then I have Cortland Sutton here down at wide receiver 24. So that's how I would rank these guys. I do have Juwan Jennings, wide receiver 25 as well. I get it. It's a great matchup against Tennessee, but man, starting 2, I think I'm going Wandale and Wilson. And I don't really care about the tight end premium with Juwan Johnson. I don't think he's one of your better plays. I think he's probably your 5th best play here. And so wide receiver 12 this weekend is Jacoby Myers, Jacksonville receiver against the Jets. I can kind of let me open up a screen share here. I haven't been doing screen shares lately. Because I want people to check out the fantasyfellowship.com. So if you guys like what the information that I'm giving y'all, you guys can check out the fantasyfellowship.com. My weekly rankings are behind the paywall, but here's what I'm looking at for my receiver rankings this week. Wandale up at 11, Jacoby, Stephon, Michael Wilson, McConkey, and I might tweak these a little bit tomorrow, but for the most part, I don't think I have to worry about too many things. All these guys are pretty healthy, so I am expecting CeeDee Lamb to play now, so I might move George Pickens down a tad. I'm going to keep Lamb up here, but you guys can check out the fantasyfellowship.com if you want to see the rankings. I'm terrified of the matchup for Houston, man. It's like this is one of the most elite defensive performances we've seen in the last few years. Like, this is not a team we want to mess with. And Jacoby Brissett, yeah, he could throw the ball a ton, but I'm getting pretty concerned here. I'm going to just hide the comment so you can see the bottom. But the Texans, they allow 11.6 quarterback points per game. So we're going to give Jacoby Brissett a touchdown, maybe 200 yards and an interception or something like that. And then only 25 receiver points allowed per game here. Michael Wilson, maybe he can still get, double digits out of that. So it is It is pretty worrisome, but man, like it's hard to ignore the targets for me. So I'm going to stick with the target process. We starting Egbuka with somewhat confidence. Sutton, Michael Wilson, Myers are my two options, and I can pick two. I'm going to probably go with Myers and Michael Wilson here. I don't have a lot of confidence in Emeka Egbuka. He's been, I don't know, man. The first month of football, like we loved Emeka Egbuka, but over the last 5 weeks, he's not even in the top 50 of wide receivers here, which is pretty concerning. Yeah, I have to go to the next page. I mean, this box score is going to be like I have zero confidence in Emeka Egbuka. This is a terrible box score, and despite getting 9, 8, 8, 9 targets, like he's just not connecting. So sure, we could play roulette and hope for one of these huge 23-point games, but every other game under 10 points, like I'm staying away here. You have Mike Evans coming back. You have Jalen McMillan coming back. I think I'm out on Emeka Egbuka this weekend, I guess tonight. And I have him down at wide receiver 36. So I'm pretty low on Emeka Egbuka. And hey, good evening to Scott. I hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you on the show tonight. I hope you're all doing lovely. And yeah, good luck everybody this weekend. It's the playoffs. Good evening to Tony as well. And that was kind of the thing that helped him early in the year, I think. Just the presence of Mike Evans got him into some soft matchups, but he was also catching a lot of touchdowns early in the year too, which they just have not been there. So I think you could roll the dice, but to me, I'm going to stick with I really like Jakobi Meyers this weekend against the Jets. I think that's a fantastic matchup. And then if Michael Wilson, even though it is the Houston Texans, if he still gets I'm going to put money on it. Like I think Michael Wilson gets more targets than Emeka Egbuka does tonight. So I'm going to stick with Wilson and Meyers. If you want a gut check and you want to stick with Egbuka tonight, I'm fine with that. But I'm going to play probably Jakobi Meyers as your other guy. I believe, I don't know if it was exactly wide open. There was some difficulty to it, but it should have been a touchdown. Ooh, Kells with the J Dart or the Jared Goff. I have Jackson Dart ranked higher this weekend. I got him up at QB7 against Washington. Like, come on, like this is a dream matchup here. Quarterback points allowed here. Washington ranking 29th. They're giving up, I guess that's overall, but they're giving up almost 20 points per game to the quarterback position. Let me go to the quarterbacks here. Yeah, they rank 28th here. So you do want to target Jackson Dart this weekend. Jared Goff going up against the Rams. The Rams rank 10th here. They're only giving up about 15 points per game. So I'm going to take that odd with Jackson Dart here. 6 fantasy points. You basically need Jared Goff to hit 3 touchdowns this weekend. So I'm going to take the under on that and go with the Dart man and see what we can find. But I'm pretty excited about where football is looking this weekend. We got some really good matchups. I think the Ravens-Cincinnati game is going to be pretty good. If Cincinnati can win, that's going to really help the Steelers out here and give them a game or two lead. The Chargers-Chiefs game, this one's in Kansas City. The Chargers beat them on that opening night. I think it was in Brazil or wherever it was. But that one's got a lot of intrigue. And then Buffalo, New England. Like these noon games are kind of bangers. So I think we're in for a good noon weekend. And then the afternoon slate, Green Bay, Denver, Detroit, LA on at the same time. Like, dang it, I wish they could have separated those. Those are 2 awesome playoff matchups. And then the primetime games this weekend, Minnesota, Dallas, whatever. We get to see JJ McCarthy. So if I'm going to go with a quarterback here, I'm going to go with the safest option, which I think is Trevor Lawrence. He's been playing his best stretch of football the last 3, 4, 5 games. He's got a rushing touchdown upside built into everything, and he's been hitting double-digit passing touchdowns for about 3 straight games. So safest option is definitely Trevor Lawrence. I'm not even considering Shedeur Sanders. I don't have a lot of trust in Sam Darnold either. Like, I'm going to trust Trevor Lawrence more. And then I really don't have a lot of trust in CJ Stroud either, which leaves us to JJ McCarthy, which I got Lawrence here ranked at QB 11, Sam Darnold QB 15 here. I'm going to keep it simple and run out Trevor Lawrence. I do have JJ McCarthy ranked relatively high this weekend at quarterback 19 against the Cowboys. So I do believe in him. I have Stroud here at 17, but I'm going to keep it simple with Trevor Lawrence, who's been, again, playing really good football and just consistent football too. He's kind of limiting his turnovers lately. He's quarterback 12 in the rankings right now on the season. I have to like what he's been doing. And yeah, 15, 17, 19, 19 the last few games, about 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he gets that rushing, 1 to 3 points per game. Hasn't ran for a touchdown in a while, so you could say he's due. But for the most part here, Trevor Lawrence has been playing pretty well. Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, man. I think they are the best team left in the AFC North here. It is a pretty bad division, but they got a game lead here. They get the Miami Dolphins at home. Like, they got to take care of this one, and I think they do. Miami Dolphins has quietly they've quietly won 4 games in a row. So this is going to probably be a good game, even though it's not a fun game with all the players involved and the lack of offensive weapons on both sides. But I can see Jaylen Warren having himself a night, and I need it. My best ball teams could really use a Jaylen Warren night. I'm actually going to pull up my best balls here because I think if Scott's still here, I got to show you what we're working with here. Let me go to my other. Alrighty. Alrighty. So these are my squads for the Millie over on DraftKings. We got 2 Kyle Pitts shares going tonight, and I don't know if you're able to see it enough, but I do have Jaylen Warren in one. I have a lot of Jonathan Taylor in 2 of these, and I went really heavy on JSN this year, so he's the one guy that I would like to see have a nice weekend. But those are my 3 Millie teams, and then I do have a bunch of other various teams that made it. I'm actually really excited for this. There was a team over here that I had that I really liked, but this $15 bubble screen, this is a single entry contest, and I've only lost a couple guys here, but we're looking pretty good here. Lamb, DJ Moore, Pickens, Olave, Buka, Shaheed, Dobbs, Wicks, Adonai Mitchell. I have a ton of Jordan Love. So if Jordan Love somehow is able to overcome the Denver Broncos and have himself a good game, I'm going to be pretty happy with some of my best balls. But I don't know, guys. I think I'm going to get out of here for the evening. Enjoy the Thursday night football game, even though it might not be an enjoyable game. I do want to see Kirk Cousins look good. I want to see Kyle Pitts play well, Bijan get his points, all that good stuff. Maybe Darnell Mooney makes a play or two. And it seems Emeka Egbuka is the one guy that I've just been getting a ton of questions on all week long. And I hope for everybody else that he does pretty well. I have him in a lot of my best ball shares as well. So let's get into Emeka Egbuka game tonight, and I guess go Buccaneers. We'll see what happens. But either way, thank you for hanging out with me this evening, guys. Good luck. I hope you get everything you need. I will be doing a live stream Sunday morning, so if you guys want to check back with me at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, and yeah, I'll have to share you with my teams. Well, I'll let you guys know how my teams do this weekend. So we'll touch back next week and see which teams are advancing, because it is not easy to advance these teams, man. It is not easy. I have 18 teams in the DraftKings playoffs, and I'm just hoping to get 3 into the next round. So we'll see what happens. But again, good luck, everybody. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.